Hey guys, I'm Erik Peterson, and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for skillofattraction.com. And today's coaching video is called Practicing Emotional Self-Control. Now, as many of you know, these coaching videos is when one of you guys sends me in a question and I think it will be beneficial to my subscribers, so I answer it in a video. And in this particular email, this guy writes in, he's been together with his girlfriend for about a year, and she ended up breaking up with him, telling him that she wasn't in love with him anymore because he became needy and desperate and insecure. And he made a lot of the classic mistakes a lot of guys make. And I just wanted to point out a few of the issues here, and obviously, since this video is about practicing emotional self-control, I want to point that out too. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. All you have to do is head over to my website at skillofattraction.com, click on the contact tab, and shoot me a message from there. All I ask is that you keep your questions to me rather short and concise, 1 to 2 paragraphs max. And I will get back to you either in a video like today, or I'll give you a written response. But I do have to take care of my paying clients first. So you just need to be a little patient. It may be a few days before I could respond to you. But if you need to get in touch with me right away, I do offer emergency coaching. For that, all you would have to do is head over to my website at skillofattraction.com. Click on the coaching tab, and there I have several options for you to choose from. Of course, emergency coaching, where I will respond within 24 to 48 hours, depending on which option you select. And I also provide monthly coaching, where I will work with you throughout the month to try to get whatever relationship issue you're having turned around and get you back on track. So let's get on to this email. He says, Erik, I love you so much. Your videos on YouTube are awesome. Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. He says, I got a problem. Me and my ex have been in a relationship for 1 year. We were happy and had a strong connection, but I became more needy and more desperate, and I was not attractive like before. Well, it seems like you realize this now, but this is where you screwed up. You did this by losing confidence in yourself, in her, and in the relationship, and by putting too much focus onto her and the relationship. This happens to a lot of guys when their girl starts to pull away from them, and it completely shifts the power because they're trying to overcompensate to bring her back closer. And I know this wasn't just one time. This probably happened many times, and over a period of time, she started getting turned off. And I highly recommend that you watch my videos. When she pulls away, do this, and my other video on how the power flips. Because when you start trying so hard to maintain the relationship, that's exactly what happens. The power flips. And once the power flips, she's going to start losing attraction for you. He continues here, one day she told me that she was not in love with me anymore and she dumped me. And this is exactly what happens when you start to act weak and give away your power. Women fall out of love with you. He says, I begged and pleaded for 2 times, not very much. Well, it really doesn't matter how many times you did it. I mean, doing it even once just confirms to her what she's already feeling, and that you're acting needy and desperate. And I'm not saying that you are that person, but in her eyes you are, because you demonstrated this through your words and your actions. Believe me, I know plenty of guys that in all other aspects of life, they're a total badass. But when it comes to a woman and she starts pulling away, they just turn into this big ball of mush. And it totally turns women off. So you got to watch out for that. She didn't change her mind. He says, I begged and pleaded for her 2 times. She didn't change her mind. I got angry and I told her that I would forget about her. I feel disappointed about her and I would move on. She didn't respond to that text, which doesn't surprise me. So I unfriended her on Facebook and started no contact. Well, dude, you're continuing to act weak by getting angry and losing your composure here. You have to show some sort of emotional self-control. I mean, by you, for one, begging and pleading, and then two, getting angry because she didn't want to try to work it out, and then getting angry again because she wouldn't respond to you. I mean, you're basically just throwing a fit here, and you're turning her off more. You're making this even worse. And I know, despite what society tries to drill into our heads, I mean, being emotional or overly emotional is not attractive quality in men. I know you hear a lot of women saying that, oh, I want him to show that side. They really don't. It's a total turnoff. He says, my friend said that she updated her sad status very often. Maybe she still think about me, but she dumped me anyway. I have stopped contacting her for 1 month. Should I keep doing that, or should I reach out to her? Love to hear from you soon, and thank you for everything. Okay, well, first, yes, you need to stay in no contact until you hear from her first. There's no magic that happens after 30 days like a lot of coaches teach. I mean, I don't think anyone says that magic is going to happen after 30 days, but for some reason, they have picked the 30-day mark for you to start reaching out again. And that really just, again, puts you in the weak position. You want her to contact you first. I mean, you have to look at it this way. She pushed you out of her life. And by you trying to stay in her life, it really only communicates your low value to her. I'm not saying that you have low value, but that's what you're communicating to her by trying to force yourself back into her life. And I mean, women are attracted to confident men of high value. And really, you just want to have the attitude of, you know, hey, it's her loss, and I want her in my life, but I don't need her in my life. And if she does contact you, you just have to be the guy that she originally fell in love with. She didn't fall in love with some needy, insecure, and desperate man. She fell in love with a charming, confident guy that would take her or leave her based on she was behaving towards you. And so many guys get this wrong because they think this is the real person that they are, this needy, insecure guy. But you weren't always like that. You became that because you got attached. And the problem is that, well, like I said, you became emotionally attached to the outcome. You assumed that she was always going to be in love with you, and you let your guard down. And so many guys do this. They think because once the girl confesses their love for the guy thinks that she's going to love him forever. And if you let your guard down, you start acting weak, you're not ambitious anymore, you're not doing anything with your life, they're totally going to just lose attraction for you, and they will fall out of love with you. And another thing that I've been trying to get across to you guys, and especially in my private coaching, women often live in the moment emotionally. So they're going to express how they feel in that moment. But that's subject to change because, I mean, one moment, all you have to do is say or do something stupid that makes them think differently of you. And how they feel about you and everything just changes. It doesn't mean that's going to be permanent. But I mean, as one example, I knew this girl, this was many years ago, and I remember she was telling me about this guy that she was dating, and she was really into this guy. And they were hanging out one time, and she was talking about how the way he crossed his legs was very effeminate to her, and it just totally killed her attraction. I mean, it's pretty stupid, but my point being is that that's how quickly it could change. And I'm not saying that you need to be walking on eggshells around women because you have to be who you are. But like I said, this is just an example of how quickly things could change if you're acting weak or effeminate or something of that nature. Now, what I think happened in your situation is as soon as she pulled away a bit, you started to panic. And you try to pull her back in by being extra nice, being extra affectionate, trying to express your loving feelings towards her even more, and ultimately it just turned her off. But another thing you really need to work on, what all men and women really need to work on, is emotional self-control. Now, when you get overly emotional about anything, men or women, you're going to end up turning your partner off if you do this on a regular basis. Of course, I'm talking about things like jealousy, not getting your way, or oversharing your feelings, or things of that nature. Of course, there are going to be times, emotional times, when it's perfectly fine. I mean, like, let's say there's been a death in the family. I mean, it's okay to express your emotions. I'm talking about needy, insecure type of emotions, doing it on a consistent basis. You're going to turn your partner off. And I think men are really a bit more tolerant of their girl getting overly emotional, but only because we know that women are typically the more emotional gender. But even then, if it's overdone and all the time, it will eventually turn men off too. And I mean, most of these like overt emotions being showed all the time, these needy emotions, it's really about trying to control and manipulate your partner. I mean, if you're stomping your foot and, you know, having a little fit, I mean, it's really about trying to get them to do what you want them to do. And you're just throwing a temper tantrum. And like I said, it really turns people off. And a lot of people don't even realize that they're doing it. I mean, so you have to be aware how you're showing up, because if you're not, one day she or he is just going to tell you that they're not in love with you anymore. And many times someone will say to their partner that, hey, you know, you're always jealous all the time. You're always acting needy, or whatever the case may be. And I really don't like it. And a lot of people just blow it off and like, oh, they don't mean that. And then one day they're like, okay, I'm not in love with you anymore. We need to break up. And they're like, it happened out of the blue. It didn't happen out of the blue. So, and one thing I want to point out to you guys is that there's this quote by this Zen Buddhist. And this quote, if you could live by this quote, it will really help you out. And it goes, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. And this is going to help you out so much, because basically you want to have the attitude is, if they want to go, let them go. If they want to stay, they could stay. Of course, if you want them to even stay. But you just want to have this attitude, because when people feel like they're losing their freedom, that's when they start to pull away. And I mean, think about it. Like if you're, you know, holding a puppy or a bunny or a cat or something, and you're just smothering it with your affection, I mean, it's going to push and claw and bite to get away from you. And that's what people are feeling on the inside when you're like that. So you really have to pay attention. And if you could truly apply this to your own life and your relationships, the quote I just shared, I promise you that it will make your relationships so much easier and make things so much more effortless. But it's not easy. It's not easy to have that mindset. And I try to have that mindset all the time, but I still find myself like getting frustrated because things aren't going the way I want to. And I just try to remind myself, and that's really what you have to do too. I mean, it's very difficult to lose that attachment to the outcome. And like I said, you just have to remind yourself of that quote when you feel that your emotions are beginning to take over. Just say to yourself, I must love her in such a way that she feels free. And hopefully she will do the same to you. And like I said, I promise you it will make things so much more easier in your relationships. So if you guys have found this video helpful, or any of my videos helpful, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and for you to share it with your friends and family who may also find it helpful. And I would also really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol that's next to it, so you'll get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. And in the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, but I will also have a link to PayPal if you'd like to make a donation. I really appreciate all of you that have watched this video all the way to the end, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.